Empty Nest actually was an idea, again, that Brandon brought to us because he was noticing what his parents were going through with an empty nest. And we made a pilot of Empty Nest, and it didn't work because there's nothing funny about an empty nest, as we found out. Two people kind of happy, but lamenting the fact that their children are gone and now dealing with each other. It didn't make for 30 minutes of fun without concocting a whole lot of stuff. So the next time around, we went with the widower idea, who had an empty nest, but who ended up not really having an empty nest because all his kids moved back in, which was really more of what the nation was experiencing at the time, and still is to some degree, but of the empty nesters not being so empty because the kids are coming back, and also dealing with a widower getting through his life after the loss of his wife. You know, following Richard Mulligan's character and him being a widower and coming out of that and trying to come out of that and having his daughters back in the house and dealing with them and their lives, and one being a little promiscuous and one being as neurotic as can be, and the memories of his wife and their memories of their mother. So it just made it a richer kind of an empty nest story in the term of the irony of the empty nest not being so empty, and yet all of that. And I think, you know, putting it in Miami helped because we had the Golden Girls visit, you know, on several occasions, certainly in the first year, to kind of keep the audiences together, and that helped. And our writers, you know, really helped us make those crossovers work. You know, the writing staff, especially, the writing staff on Empty Nest was a very strong staff too. But the writing staff of Golden Girls, I mentioned Mort Nathan and Barry Fanaro, but Kathy Spear and Terry Grossman, they were really, they did some giant work for this series, and truly would not have been as successful. We would not have been as successful without them. They had the fortunate ability to have Susan around a lot, and sometimes you have, you know, created and deserted by. They create and then they leave the series, and you're just, you know, everybody's left to try to figure out the blueprint. But Susan gave the blueprint in the pilot, and she wrote a lot of the episodes, maybe a third or close to half of the season, a third of the season probably the first year, but that's a third of the season, and those are always good, brilliant scripts, but you know, you have to carry the rest of the load. And Kathy and Terry and Mort and Barry, especially in that year one, which really launched the series, wrote some brilliant episodes, and they were a great combination, the four of them together. And our writing staff on Empty Nest was the same. So it was great to have those two shows and those two staffs working closely together when necessary to do crossovers. It was a good show. 7 years, and if you're going to ask me why it went off the air, 7 years. No more to say.